Foton is fighting an uphill battle in an already crowded mid-size pickup truck segment, but it believes that with the right amount of specs, advanced technology, and most importantly price, it can definitely stand a fighting chance. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing the 2025 Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic. Now, one way to ingratiate yourself to a fan base crazy about pickup trucks is to make sure that you give out a design language that reminds them a lot of their favorite pickup trucks. For example, this one right here, it definitely gets a lot of inspiration from a lot of more popular trucks, but how often can you really differentiate yourself from other designs? It's got the Foton branding right here in the front. I mean, it's definitely not going to be obscure at all. It's listed there in chrome. I mean, I myself would definitely be blacking this out if I ever would buy a Foton truck like this one. Got these projector style halogen headlamps right here. You got these LED DRLs though, which is a nice touch. Now, one thing that the Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic does have though is advanced driver assist systems. As you can see right here, you've got front parking sensors, you got this front camera that works with a 360-degree camera system, and another camera on top right there. And one thing about the Foton Thunder right here is that it definitely is wide. It definitely is huge and big. I know huge and big are synonyms, but trust me when I tell you, this thing is absolutely massive. In fact, it's definitely wider than a lot of the current lineup of mid-sized pickup trucks in the market. And I think it's one more thing that's gonna make sure that all those pickup truck fans are gonna love it. Moving over to the side of the Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic, you got 220 millimeters of ground clearance right here, so this chunky little step board is definitely a must if you want to get in easily. You've got these 18-inch two-tone alloy wheels. They have that machine look to it, giving it a more modern look, although you do have highway tires on it. Those are 265/60 R18 tires. Definitely not going to be a great off-road tire if you ask me, but again, because of these huge wheel wells right here matched to these haunches on each side, you can definitely upgrade them to your heart's desire. You got this really chunky plastic plate right here in the back with the embossed Foton logo right here. This definitely sticks out right here out of the sheet metal and made of plastic, so this is going to help out with trying to protect the paint underneath right there, and adds a little bit more flair and macho appeal if you ask me. You've got LED tail lamps, which is nice. You got fog lamps as well. The rear fog lamps are actually situated on each end of the tail lamps. You got another camera right here that works with a 360-degree camera system and rear parking sensors. Now, one thing that I have against this though is that this rear tailgate is not assisted. So if you missed out on your gym day or your bicep day that day, you could just definitely use this and use it for your curls. That's fine. One thing about having a shorter length bed right here in the back is that you've got this squared out space here. I mean, like I said, it's not the deepest. It's definitely not the deepest bed that you've ever seen. That's what she said. And then but you do have this really partitioned space in the back to put all your stuff in. You have hooks on each side there, and you've got this bed liner as well that comes straight out of the factory. So all in all, not bad for a mid-sized pickup truck at this price point. All right, so inside the Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic, the first thing that's going to jump right at you is how it looks and how it feels. I mean, a lot of reviewers that I've seen call it car-like or even crossover-like, and I'm starting to see what they're getting at. So first off, you got this full carbon fiber trim right here in the middle of the dashboard. It does break the monotony of the black and silver trim going on right here. But if you ask me, I probably would be choosing fall carbon fiber instead of piano black. So this is definitely a win for me. You got this 10.5-inch touchscreen infotainment system right here. It's very nice and responsive. But one thing about it is that if I would probably be installing probably Foton would want to put in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto right here, but as it stands with the Carbit link, you can definitely mirror your phone to it, which is a nice workaround, but I do wish it has will definitely have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto at least, so that you can check out your ways and stuff right here in the middle. But this is just fine. In fact, it's very responsive, if you ask me. Brightness could also use a little bit more tweaking. I wish it would, they could boost up the brightness right here. But again, at this price point, what more can you ask for? It doesn't have the vertical orientation, the fancy ones, the TikTok mode, but you know, it's definitely workable. Plus you can change the theme, so it is fine. One thing that it does have though is a DVR. That's right, this thing has a DVR system built in, so it uses all the cameras around it, the 360-degree camera system, to monitor your drive. So no need to install a dash cam here. No need to have one of those ugly pods right here in the middle of your windshield, because it can use your existing cameras as a dash cam. So I wish that a lot of more companies will start implementing that into their cars. I mean, they do have the infrastructure. All they gotta do is just install the software and you are good to go. You do have a multi-information display right here in the middle as well. To control it, you just click on the buttons right here in the screen. That's fine, that's nice. Yep, switch between all these settings, and you can check out your trip meter here, your fuel consumption gauge, how long you've been running, average speed, travel time, and all that if you're into those numbers. It even has tire pressure monitoring system, which is definitely surprising again for a pickup truck at this price point. You got a leather wrapped steering wheel here with all the buttons that you need. You got the cruise control buttons on the left side, and your media control buttons, and your buttons to control the multi-information display right here on the right. Also, it is adjustable for both reach and rake, and you've got paddle shifters right here in the back. More of that later on though. These seats, the driver seats, are power adjustable. You got these quilted seats right here, which is nice. Again, something that you don't often see in pickup trucks. More of that quilted leather right here on the door cards, and soft touch materials on the door cards as well. Not on the top of the dashboard though, but that is fine. You have more of that soft touch right here in the middle. So you got these, you got automatic climate control and heated seats. No cooled seats, however. And one thing about the 4x4 automatic though is that you do have this dial to switch between different modes. So right now we are parked. We're switching between 2H, 4H, and 4L. So it does that automatically on the fly. And it even has automatic. So the traction control system would detect what particular drive mode you need at a particular time, and it will automatically switch. So I'm switching it to auto. Probably switch it to 2H instead, so that I could you know, control my system. It doesn't turn on whenever I don't want it to. Plus you got all these buttons on its side. 360-degree camera, you can just go ahead and activate it right here. We're pressing it right there. It's not the clearest 360-degree camera, but it's better to have it, and instead of having none of it. And it's fine, it's definitely workable. You can definitely check out your surroundings, or even if you're going off-roading on this bad boy, as soon as you change those wheels, you can check out your surroundings. It even has 3D mode, where you can check out your Foton Thunder right here. It is in black, and you can change the color. Yes, you can change the color of your Foton Thunder right here as well. You can change it to white from black, and what other color? Silvery blue. Does it have red? I love red. There you go. You can imagine that you're driving a red truck. I wish they offered this in red. Anyway, we got that going right there. That's object monitoring. It even has a transparency mode, so if you're a little bit too distracted by the red color, you can just change it right there, which is nice. Okay. All right, so it does have Bluetooth. You have 6 speakers all around. The sound isn't bad at all. In fact, the sound insulation right here is above average, I have to say. You still hear a lot of the diesel clatter coming, permeating through the cabin, but it's not that much. It's not the quietest diesel out there when it comes to mid-size pickup trucks, but it's not the noisiest at all. I think you guys know what the noisiest one is. All right, so let's go back to the center console here. You have this electronic shifter, electronic parking brake, and automatic brake hold, plus 2 cup holders, and a huge center console to put all your stuff in, where you've got 2 USB ports right there. All right, Now, one thing about the Foton Thunder, though, is that it wants to give you all these modern amenities, but still look back to tradition. So, if your uncle had this pickup truck, they'd probably they probably would be smoking in the 80s and 90s, and you got this accessory, an ashtray. But these days, you'd probably be using that as a trash can to put all your receipts in, your parking tickets. Just put it right there. But it's nice to know that they still have, something to look back into. Another way that this is very car-like and unlike a lot of its competitors is that you do have a lot of space for your knees, your feet, and even headroom, which is nice. Plus, the quilted leather makes another appearance here on the door cards, and as well as the backrest of the seats. Plus, the door cards are also soft touch. So they really haven't skimped out on the rear seats though. So you still have a lot of space and it's very comfortable. Plus the seats are not that upright. Still upright though, and there's no way for you to recline this, but it doesn't feel like you're sitting in a stadium filled with your classmates that you don't like to see. You also have these large windows that close all the way down. It's very airy. I mean, if you're out on a road trip, this just might be one of the biggest rear windows I have ever seen in any car, bar none. So visibility is awesome. Plus you got these map pockets right here on the rear of the front seats. So you do have a solitary USB port right underneath here. I guess some people missed that. Just one USB port to fight over with. But you do have a cubby hole right there. And a center armrest with 2 cup holders. There you go. So not much toys to work with, but space, yeah, you got space for days. And comfort-wise, they're not really as flat as a lot of trucks, so that works out. Also, the rear seats feature a particular space to put all your small items or items you don't want other people to see underneath here. So space, yeah, you got more space than you actually need in a truck. Plus you got the bed to work with, but it's raining right now, so if you want to put all your items in the back of the bed, go do so yourself. I wouldn't. But let's take this out for a spin and see how this works out. I'm excited to know about that 2-liter diesel with that 8-speed automatic, so let us go. All right, so we're now behind the wheel of the Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic, new for 2025. Previously, this was only available with a 4x2, the automatic variant, but now it's got it in 4x4. So we're not in its natural habitat, but we are in where you'd usually be using the Foton Thunder 2.0, which is tight city traffic. That's exactly what we're doing, squeezing through traffic like this. And yes, because of the 360-degree camera system, it actually helps us out. But one thing that this has, though, is great visibility. You've got these huge side mirrors right here, plus a great, great greenhouse inside with these huge windows, which aids in visibility. And I'm surprised with the kind of engineering precision they've designed the Foton Thunder with, and I like it. Now under the hood, you've got a 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine that makes 160 horsepower and 390 newton meters of torque. Now, I know what you're thinking, that might not be much, especially when compared to its more powerful, in fact, overpowered rivals. But to be honest, it's just fine. I mean, especially when it's mated with this 8-speed automatic transmission. It definitely helps with giving you a lot of the torque early on in the rev range. So between 1,000, 2,000, even 2,500 RPMs, you get that surge of torque, which is actually everything that you need, especially with city driving or even out of town driving. If you need to overtake any slow pickup truck on an uphill going through those twisties, you know what I'm saying. That boost of power is one thing that will be helpful, and this is what it can offer you. It's got 2 drive modes. You got Eco and Sport. Now, I have it on Eco, and you know me, guys, I usually go ahead with Sport mode all the way, but with the way the transmission and the engine is tuned, where you get that surge of power that I mentioned, you would want to keep it on Eco, because I've turned off the Eco right now. It will it will give you all that power even though you don't need it. So right now we're on Eco, but I can go ahead and put it on Sport mode when I'm out on the highway. That's where it's most useful. But in and around the city and stop and go traffic, Eco's definitely all you need. The steering wheel gives you good feedback on the road, and that's something I appreciate with this, with the Foton Thunder anyway. I mean, it gives you good road feel. There you go. It doesn't feel numb at all. And it's heavy. It's weighted. I know it has electronic power steering, but this is something that I really appreciate, especially when you're bringing a big heavy truck like this. You need to know where you're at spatially, especially with this big, huge truck. Now, suspension-wise, you've got double wishbone suspension right up front and leaf springs in the back. And I gotta tell you, it definitely feels like a truck. This might look like a sedan or a crossover, but it really feels very truck-like. I've got my rear passenger right there, Ash. He is complaining about how this feels like, but he understands that this is a truck and feels like a truck, certainly. Now, its rated towing capacity or loading capacity is at 1 ton, which gives it a little bit of cred, especially with trying to get more, putting more stuff in the back of the bed. So, yes, this can definitely, carry a lot of things. 1 ton is a lot. Probably not a lot because of that small bed, but anyway, it can carry heavy things. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm putting back on Eco. Mated to that 2-liter turbocharged diesel engine is an 8-speed ZF automatic transmission. Now, it is smooth. It's definitely well mated to that diesel engine, and in stop-and-go traffic, it doesn't hunt on a lot of gears. I mean, you do have an 8-speed, and one of the problems with having more than 6 speeds in a car, any car, is that it usually hunts for those particular gears, whatever it needs to. In this case, though, it's not going to be a problem, and you would get the right RPM and the right gear whenever you need it. So it's smart enough to match whatever driving style you have. So being a heavy 4x4 pickup truck, you would expect that the fuel economy of the Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic might be on the low end, but to be honest, it's really not that bad. In and around the city, I get 8 kilometers per liter, and on the highway, it goes up to about 14 to 15 kilometers, giving me a mixed driving average of around 13 to 12 kilometers per liter, which is absolutely not bad. And with a 75-liter diesel tank right there, you can definitely go a week or 2 without having to visit your favorite gas station. You do have your standard airbags, you got your standard seat belts, ABS, electronic brake force distribution, traction control, you even have downhill assist and hill descent control, but a little bit of extra goes a long way, especially with a truck this size. I mean, look at that turning radius, it's just abhorrent. But it does have 360-degree cameras. It has lane keep assist, forward collision warning, blind spot monitoring systems, and front and rear parking sensors. Pricing for the Foton Thunder starts at 1,080,000 pesos for the manual 4x2 variant. So there's a no frills car. You won't be getting the same kind of kit, the same safety features in it, but it's not a bad price, especially for a big pickup truck. If you're looking for an automatic, move up to the same EL variant, which is available at 1,150,000 pesos. But if you want to get a Thunder 4x4 with a manual, that's 1,298,000 pesos. Now this bad boy right here, the automatic with the 4x4, that's 1,398,000 pesos. There is another tier above this one though, which is the Outback. They call it the Outback. 1,498,000 pesos. That comes with the off-road tires, the better wheels. You got a sports bar. It's got a bull bar as well. And they probably call it an Outback because Foton is such a big thing in Australia that a lot of people there actually consider this a great alternative to more mainstream brands. So imposter syndrome is the feeling where you don't feel like you're good enough, despite the fact that you do have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with more established brands or people in your same industry. And that goes the same with the Foton Thunder 4x4 automatic. I mean, it does have what it takes to go toe-to-toe and even exceed a lot of these more mainstream models and brands. But the question is, how do you deal with that imposter syndrome with the Foton Thunder, with everything it's got? I want to know what you think. Drop me a comment in the comment section down below. While you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. This has been Roy Robles from Zigwheels.Ph. See you guys next time.